Hey everybody, I'm Roller's Wallet, and in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the best options redeeming your points for domestic tickets. But first, if you're new to this channel is all about credit cards, credit card rewards, and showing how you can use your points and miles to travel for less. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing and turning the bell notification on as well. Also, consider giving the video a thumbs up, it really does help the channel out. Now when it comes to redeeming your points for domestic travel, you're going to hear some people say not to do it, and you should save those points for international premium cabins. And that's really because you're going to get a better cent per point value for those international premium cabins. But I have said this before that there is more to value than just a cent per point value. So if you travel domestically, then use your points to travel domestically and save yourself money. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, will you get some sort of crazy cent per point value for this? Probably not. But are you going to spend less money on your flights to get to your destination? Absolutely you will. So let's take a look at some programs you should consider when you are traveling domestically. Now let's start off with Aeroplan. Now I really like Aeroplan for a couple of reasons for domestic travel. But I should first mention that in 2020, they are changing their program where redeeming Aeroplan miles for US domestic travel is going to be tied to the ticket price. This is similar to what we see with Southwest and someone like JetBlue, so we'll just need to reevaluate Aeroplan when these changes happen. But for the time being, they still have a standard award chart for domestic travel. And flights in economy start at just 12,500 miles each way. And Aeroplan is part of Star Alliance, and for domestic flights, you'll actually be flying on United Metal. Now, using Aeroplan miles aren't going to be good for short-haul flights because there are better options out there for you, but for longer flights, they are the same cost currently as United. And the way to get great value from your Aeroplan miles is to book domestic travel with a stopover. Because you can book a round-trip ticket in the United States for only 25,000 Aeroplan miles, or you can book a flight with a stopover and see 2 cities for just 25,000 Aeroplan miles. And the taxes and fees are the same for both a round trip or if you use the multi-city function and book a stopover. And this is a great way to extend your trips and get more value from these points. Now to earn Aeroplan miles, they are transfer partners of American Express, Capital One, and Marriott Bonvoy. They also have their own co-branded credit card with TD Bank. And American Express has had transfer bonuses in the past to Aeroplan, and this would be a great way to reduce your miles cost for that multi-city award or a round-trip ticket. Next, let's take a look at British Airways Avios. Now when it comes to British Airways, one important thing you need to know is how they price out their flights. British Airways charges you based on distance and per segment. And British Airways is part of the One World Alliance, which is the same alliance as American Airlines. So your domestic flights are going to be flown on AA metal. And to get the best value from your British Airways Avios, you want to look for non-stop flights. And to be more specific, you want to look for short-haul non-stop flights. And that's because award flights change based on distance. The longer the flight, the more miles it's going to cost you. Although some longer options could be good options, but in general, short-haul flights is what you're looking for. And occasionally you might see saver space on American Airlines that's not showing up on British Airways website. That's okay. This does happen from time to time. You just want to write down the flight numbers and the routes and call British Airways. Because if American Airlines shows saver space, then it should be bookable by British Airways. And for short-haul flights, this is usually a better option than booking flights with your American airline miles. For example, if I was looking to book a flight from DC to Boston, it would only cost me 7,500 Avios one way instead of 12,500 American airline miles. And British Airway miles are extremely easy to earn because they are transfer partners of both Ultimate Rewards and Membership Rewards. And we've seen membership rewards offer transfer bonuses in the past as well, so it could cost you fewer miles. And the only transfer bonus we have ever seen Chase offer thus far has been to British Airway Avios. You can also pool your points with family members at no cost, which is a great benefit. Now let's take a look at Avianca Life Miles, because just like Aeroplan, Life Miles is part of Star Alliance, and they have some good award spots for domestic travel. And Avianca does not pass on fuel surcharges as well, which is pretty awesome. And Avianca's pricing is based on zones, and the US is actually split up into 3 different zones. And when you fly from zone 1 to zone 1, it's only going to cost you 7,500 miles one way. When you fly from zone 1 to zone 2, it'll be 10,000 miles. And when you fly from zone 1 to zone 3, it will be 12,500 miles one way. But I want you to think of their zone pricing more as guidelines, because you know how I've told you in the past that LifeMiles has its quirks? Well, there are some quirks for pricing out US domestic travel, and here are a few examples of that. When you're looking to fly from Newark to DC, which is zone 1 to zone 1, it should price out at 7,500 miles, but in this example, it's pricing out at 6,500 miles one way. And if you were to fly from Newark to Chicago, you can see that this is a zone 1 to zone 2 flight, and it should cost you 10,000 miles, but in this example, it's only costing you 7,500 miles. So you definitely want to price these options out and not necessarily just look at the award chart, because think of those award charts, I would say more is just a guideline. But if you can look at the zones, you'll see some spots where you can actually fly a good chunk of distance and you're going to pay fewer miles than United or even possibly using Avios. And LifeMiles are extremely easy to earn because they are partners of membership rewards, thank you points, Venture Miles, Marriott Bonvoy, and they even have their own co-branded credit card. And it's not too uncommon to see membership rewards or thank you points offer transfer bonuses to Avianca, so this could be a fantastic way to pay fewer miles for those award flights. Next, let's talk about Iberia Avios. Iberia Avios aren't as widely talked about when compared to British Airways, but they could be a better option for those super short hauls if you were to compare them to British Airways. Because while British Airways pricing is based on segment and distance, Iberia is priced by total distance. It doesn't matter if you have connections, it just adds that total distance together. Something you do want to keep in mind when using Iberia Avios is that you do need to book a round trip ticket. But this can work out really well for those short haul flights. Plus, their website can also be extremely frustrating and their phone reps are not the best. For example, if we were looking back at that example flying from Washington DC to Boston, a round trip ticket will only cost you 12,000 Iberia Avios, but you can see that same flight would be 15,000 British Airways Avios. And this is a great way to save extra miles on those short hauls or short hauls with connections. And you can even move your British Airways Avios to Iberia, which can really be helpful. The thing you want to keep in mind though is that you need to have some points on an Iberia account to do this, and you can move membership reward points or even ultimate reward points just to put some of your points in your account to make that happen. And this could really be good if you happen to be just sitting on a bunch of British Airways Avios in your account and you want to take advantage of the point savings using Iberia Avios for those short haul flights. And just like British Airways, Iberia is a transfer partner of membership rewards and ultimate rewards. And we also see transfer bonuses come from membership reward to this program pretty regularly. Now let's talk about American Airlines reduced mileage awards and their web specials. American Airline miles can be a good option if you were to take advantage of either one of their web specials or utilizing the reduced mileage awards if you are an American Airline credit card holder. And the reduced mileage awards are going to be better for those longer flights, possibly more for the transcontinental flights, which you could get for 17,500 American Airline miles round trip. But for those short haul flights, British Airways potentially is still going to be a better option. Because for flights under 500 miles, American Airlines charges 7,500 miles one way, and Iberia only charges 6,000 miles each way. And the web specials can be an awesome way to save miles and can be a really good option depending on the deal. But the issue with the web specials is that there's no way to know what routes are on the web specials without searching them. They don't have a designated spot to search them like Delta does with their flash sales. For example, if we go back to that same example looking to go from DC to Boston, Saver Space is 7,500 miles, which is not the best option. But currently at the time of the shooting this video, they are offering a web special for that route for only 5,000 miles one way, which is actually better than Iberia for the date that we saw flying on Iberia. And you can earn American airline miles from their co-branded credit card or transferring points from Marriott Bonvoy. Now let's talk about Virgin Atlantic. See, Virgin Atlantic miles are pretty awesome. They are a non-alliance partner for Delta Airlines, which can be very helpful for booking domestic flights. And that's because Virgin Atlantic has an actual award chart, while Delta just charges whatever they feel like. And to book these awards, you can search directly on Virgin Atlantic's website and book those flights. And Virgin Atlantic only charges 12,500 miles one way in coach. And these are going to be better for those longer flights since there are better options out there for you for those short haul flights. Now you want to remember the best use for using Virgin Atlantic is for those non-stop flights, because if you have a connection, they're going to charge you more miles. But for non-stop options, this could be a great use of your Virgin Atlantic miles. And earning Virgin Atlantic miles are some of the easiest miles to earn. They're partners with Ultimate Rewards, membership rewards, thank you points, Bonvoy points, and they even have their own co-branded credit card. And we also see pretty regular transfer bonuses from membership rewards and thank you points over to Virgin Atlantic, so this is going to be a great way to reduce your cost even more. Now let's take a look at dynamic pricing programs. Now when I'm saying this, I'm talking about programs like JetBlue and Southwest, because these can offer some really good value, but only if the ticket prices are lower. And that's because the points needed to book an award flight is based on the price of the ticket. And while there can be some great value to be had here, you're also going to find options that are absolutely atrocious compared to options that have an actual award chart. And when compared to some of these other airlines, Southwest and JetBlue just don't have the number of routes that you're going to get from a United, Delta, or an American Airlines. Although you could argue that the experience on Southwest or JetBlue is definitely superior to those other airlines. The one exception for Southwest would be if you happen to have the Southwest Companion Pass. Because if you have the Companion Pass, it could be better even if the prices are slightly higher, since you're basically getting a buy one get one ticket using the Companion Pass. But in all cases, you definitely need to run the numbers for those flights and compare those to a program with an award chart, because these programs can definitely come in handy and save you a ton of miles. Now let's talk about travel portals and using cash back. While many people immediately look to transfer their points, sometimes the best option, especially if you're booking coach flights, is to use a travel portal or using cash back to book those flights. And there have been some pretty great deals for domestic flights, and there are sites like Airfare Spot, Airfare Watchdog, and The Flight Deal who find flight deals for you. Also, searching Google Flights can help show you some pretty great options as well. But using your points as travel cash through the portals can be useful even if the prices can be slightly different from each portal. Because cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve do offer that uplift for your points and could be a good option for flying coach and sometimes even for flying business class. And one advantage this has over booking award flights is that you're also going to earn miles for these flights as well. So checking the cash fares is always something to do and compare against an award chart, because using these portals can actually be a really good option for you. See, you can get good value from your points if you wanted to use them to travel domestically. You just want to take full advantage of alliance partners and make sure you're using the fewest number of miles possible to increase your value and give you more miles for future trips. And while your first instinct might be to look for a transfer partner, you should still always compare that to the cash price. And you can see why this is why I tell people to focus on flexible currency over program-specific points. It just gives you so many more options when it comes to redeeming your miles. So tell me, how do you redeem your points for domestic travel? Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Until next time, safe travels and take care.